Anyhow, welcome to the show. Let me introduce myself briefly to the audience. I mean, the gentleman just introduced me, but let me, just in case you missed it, I'm a former Mr. America. I Mr. Universe twice from the 1980s, also a nutritionist, life coach, and also I was the pupil of the gentleman who coined the term core training. All your core exercises come from this guy, and I worked with him for 4,000 hours. I met him when I was 17 years of age. So if you're looking to get some exercise that helps to fix some of your achy parts of your body, I'm the guy to actually do that with you. Anyhow, I'm here until 2 o'clock, and I'm here every week. And because I'm a baby boomer like most of my listeners, my show is usually geared towards what baby boomers would be interested in hearing when it comes to their health, or what they don't want to hear when it comes to their health too, which is basically food. I don't want to talk about what they eat because most people my age group, their diets are terrible. Their diets suck, literally. And I'm not trying to pick on anyone, just stating a fact. Our diets are really bad, and we're we are what we eat. It's that simple. You know, I'm a proponent of exercise, but I can tell you what, you can't exercise off a bad diet. It just doesn't happen. You know, our diets feed our internal organs, our internal function. And if we're eating junk, which most of us do today, highly processed, high carbohydrate foods, we have a bad outcome. And the only ones who benefit from that bad outcome are the food companies that make highly addictive foods, because they're highly addictive. A lot of the additives they put in our foods, our processed foods today, are basically stimulate the appetite, make us want to eat more of the same junk. And so they benefit because you're buying more of the same junk. And Big Pharma benefits because they're making drugs to fit the sicknesses that they've created. We are what we eat. And according to Dr. Benjamin Bickman, he wrote the book Why We Get Sick, a number of other books as well. When it comes to heart health, he says heart disease is the leading global cause of death. In fact, we run commercials on this radio station where, you know, the person doing the commercials talks about a life scan, you know, which is a great thing to do, and talks about heart disease. One in three Americans are going to die from heart disease, 33%. It accounts for 30% of disease-related deaths, naturally, because it is so deadly. There's been much discussion of what causes heart disease. Commonly accused culprits include cigarette smoking, alcohol, cholesterol, lack of exercise, and too much belly fat. But there's not as much focus on insulin resistance. Some circles acknowledge it is a piece of the puzzle, but the truth is more dramatic. It is the puzzle. Insulin resistance and cardiovascular disorders are almost inseparable. They're connected. They're tied together. In fact, Cleveland Clinic back in 1990, I believe, was that long ago, 30-some years ago, basically takes all their patients who have blood sugar 90 and above and classifies them as pre-diabetics. And they're right. And when you develop pre-diabetes, means you're becoming insulin resistant. That insulin resistance is tied to almost every one of your sicknesses, according to Dr. Bickman. I agree with him. Cardiovascular disease, cancers, non-alcoholic fatty liver, joint problems, bone loss. I mean, there's a whole list of them. It's that long. And so one of the big things that we jump on is the cholesterol thing. And I talk about this a lot. And the number one selling drug of all time are statins. They've made a lot of money for Big Pharma. So now they come up with a new one that you take a shot that lowers cholesterol. I think it's called Repatha, I think it's once a week or something like that. Oh, they lower cholesterol. There's no doubt about that. But statin drugs increase a lot of risk for other sicknesses. One is it increases the risk of developing diabetes. Yeah, I'm not making this up. Big Pharma was sort of had a meltdown a few years ago when it was reported that the ongoing studies showed that increased risk of developing diabetes. And if you're diabetic, it can increase the number of medications you're on to treat that. Then I have one in front of me. You're going to love this one. Because one of the things that we look at when we look at cholesterol in general is the size of the LDL molecule. And there's different types, different sizes. You have the small one and the big one. Small one's bad. Big one's good. But according to the Texas Heart Institute, they said statins do not decrease small, dense, low-density lipoprotein, but in fact increases it. I'm not making this up. So you're told, get your cholesterol down, okay, because it's going to cut your risk of having a heart attack down, and you find out it increases the number of these bad, small, little tight particles that are tied directly into heart issues. Plus, it causes more plaque buildup, more calcification. Then, of course, you're going to have your study people go, oh, you got to fix it. You got to explain it this way. It's going to cause more plaque buildup, but it makes the plaque more stable. What the hey is that? Oh, it's less prone to rupture and cause a blood clot, heart attack. You got to find a reason to take more of those drugs. But what they don't talk about, one of the best ways to get your cholesterol down and get your health under control is to go on a low-carb diet. Yeah. And us seniors out there, and I'm one of you, I'm 69 years of age, I'm a senior. This is a new study that came out, University of Alabama, Birmingham. A clinical trial recently published in Nutrition and Metabolism by researchers with the University of Alabama, Birmingham Nutrition Obesity Research Center shows that a low-carb diet significantly improved body composition, fat distribution, and metabolic health in older adults compared to a low-fat control. The latest CDC data shows that 42.8% of U.S. adults age 60 and over have obesity. The study aimed at determine if a very low carbohydrate diet defined as 10% carbs, 25% protein, and 65% fat provides a greater loss of body fat, total visceral and intramuscular, preserves lean mass, and improves insulin sensitivity compared to the standard low-fat diet, which is 55% carbs, 25% protein, 20% fat. And it did. Plus all the other parameters tied into this improved as well. Lower triglycerides. In fact, there's a method being used right now. It's called triglyceride glucose index to determine if you have insulin resistance. It's easy to do. All you got to know is your fasting glucose and your fasting triglycerides, and you can find out if you're at risk. So the people that in this study, their triglycerides improved, their HDLs went up, their blood sugars improved. Seniors. And the amount of low-density lipoprotein small molecules decreased, not increased, decreased. That's good. And that's diet. We are what we eat. So you can do this yourself. Next time you choose to eat junk food, stick it in your face every meal of the day to say to yourself, I can't do this to myself. I want to enjoy my life. I want to spend time with people that I really care about being with. And if I'm constantly sick, that can't happen. One of the other things you can do is get yourself some help. I mean, I hear tons of commercials for weight loss stuff now. You got to have lifestyle. Weight loss stuff helps, but you need lifestyle. Without lifestyle, you're going to quit the weight loss stuff. I'm going to tell you right now. You can go the drug route, you can go the natural route, but if you don't have help sticking on the program, you're going to quit. That's a fact, Jack. Okay, anyhow, what are we talking about? Oh, you. Yeah, cholesterol. That's it. Exactly. Cholesterol. When you go... No, I'm fine. Okay, some right here. Okay. When you go to your doctor, I mean, that's why I tell people, listen, you need to know your numbers. This is critical. Because the best weapon for seniors, people in my age group, is to know what your numbers are. What does that mean, Dr. Fitness? Your blood work. You'd be shocked when I meet with people and I ask them to bring their blood work with, okay, or do they know their numbers? No. When you have your blood work done last? Oh, maybe a year ago? 6 months ago? I suggest you have it done at least once or twice a year. But anyhow, and they don't know. So why don't you know? I just said everything was okay. Okay. Or they are on medications and I don't know what they are. I mean, let me tell you why you need to know. Okay. You need to know because that's going to be your best weapon. Your defense. Okay. Because being my age, once you get on Social Security, Medicare, they're going to try to get you on all kinds of medications because they don't want to give you your money. We see these commercials for all these political ads, how they're going to take your Social Security away and we're going to take your Medicare away. You know who's going to take it away, don't you? The government. They're going to take it away because you're spending all your money that you worked hard to put away on the drugs that basically they're making money off of and Big Pharma's making money off of. And they're taking it right back from you. So you have nothing left. But if you know your numbers, you know how to fight. Because when I went on Medicare, started collecting Social Security that I worked so hard for so many years, that's my money. I've got great lipids. And you'd be shocked the number of doctors I would see, okay, for a number of different, times. Okay. And they say, you need to be on a statin. I go, why? I'm serious. Do you know what my lipids are? Oh, your lipids are great. Honest to goodness is what they say. All right. My lipids are great. Why do I need a statin drug? Because it's good for you. I go, how is it good for you? It's good. I'm serious. I'm not making this stuff up. Is that, statins increase your risk of, heart failure. Not a good thing, is it? No. Depletes CoQ10. You see it advertised on TV as well, by the way. But you should be on it because of your age. Why? It's good for you. That was the reason. But statins do this. They increase your risk of developing diabetes. If you're not one, you might become one. If you are one, you might need more drugs. They cross the blood and brain barrier. What does that do? Interfere with the cholesterol made in the brain, which makes up the membrane of the brain, which increases your risk of developing what? Well, they'll say cognitive issues. Dementia. Progressive Alzheimer's. That's good stuff, isn't it? No, it's not. It's not good stuff. So if you know your numbers, you know how to fight. My blood sugar, last test, 80. 80. My PSA, guys know what that is, 0.03. Fabulous. My triglycerides, 37. Yes. My HDL, 72. Yes. And I'm 69 years old. So know your numbers. If you know your numbers, then you have something to fight with, because otherwise you're going to go to the doctor, seniors, because you get your checkups. That's normal. And they're going to put you on a drug. And if you have no idea what you're on the medication for, except for, here, take this medication. But if you know your numbers, and if it's a statin drug or a blood sugar drug, then you know how to fight. If you don't, then you don't know how to fight. It's that simple. Now, here's one for you ladies. University of Alabama, Birmingham. UAB study finds exercising 1 day a week may be enough for older women. Ladies. A study by researchers at University of Alabama, Birmingham, reveals that women over 60 years of age may need to exercise only 1 day a week to significantly improve strength and endurance. The study appeared in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research, monitored 63 women performing combined aerobic exercise training and resistance training for 16 weeks. One group performed aerobic training and resistance training 1 time per week, a second group 2 times per week, and a third group 3 times per week. The study found significant increases in muscular strength, cardiovascular fitness, and functional tasks in each group, but there were no significant differences in outcomes among the groups. There we go. 1 time a week. You don't have to worry about going down to that gym and exercising 6 or 7 days a week. Not necessary, ladies. This is for older women. 1 time a week. Now, you can combine both the aerobic exercise and resistance training together if you do weights in a manner that's nonstop. What does that mean, Dr. Fitness? You're not resting between exercises. You go from one to another, upper to lower body. Upper body exercise, lower body exercise. That gets those muscles pumping blood. They act like little hearts. It increases what we call your cardio reserve. In other words, when you're not exercising, the heart's not working as hard to push blood because your muscles are doing it. Even in a resting state, they are still squeezing blood vessels to push blood back up to your heart and lungs and your brain. 1 day a week. That's all you need. 30 minutes if you do it like this, because then you're getting your cardio and you're getting your strengthening at the same time. Another recommendation, ladies, and challenge yourself. A 2-pound dumbbell doesn't do much. 8, 9, 10-pound dumbbell will, depending on what you're doing with it. Challenge yourself, but in good form. Get a trainer. Same thing applies to guys. Every one of us, we have things that are going on with us as we get older. One of them is loss of muscle mass. I believe it's between 3 and 5% per decade. And it greatly accelerates after 50. And 60, you're done. Unless you do what? Exercise with resistance, with weights. Then you maintain muscle mass. Easier. It also stimulates an increase in testosterone, gentlemen. We know what that does. Testosterone is good for guys as you get older. You need it. Otherwise, aging sets in real quickly. And one of the best ways to keep your testosterone levels elevated is exercise with weights. Treadmill ain't going to do it. Going for a walk in a mosey dough is not going to do it. Resistance training will. Challenge yourself. Welcome back to the Good Life with Lance, Dr. Fitness. That's me. The phone number here at the studio. If you've got a comment, give us a phone call at 602-260-5394, 602-260-KFYI. And we're talking about, you are what you eat. You are what you eat. We've got it all messed up. And finally, with the advent of the internet, and more people basically preaching from the pulpit like me, the message is getting across to people that our diets have been screwed up for a long, long time. They've been a mess for a long, long time. We've been given bad information. And that started sometime back in the 1980s, approximately. 70s, 80s, when we went to a low-fat kick. And so your food companies went right along with it. They said, we can make really cheap, inexpensive, high-carbohydrate foods, which don't spoil, stick them on the shelf and sell a bunch of them and make people fat. And then our buddies over there at Big Pharma will make a drug to fit the problem. Yeah, they did it right. And they worked for a long time to come up with that solution. That solution was, let's turn people into diabetics. Make a drug for diabetes, Ozempic, Wegovy, Manjura, for diabetes. And then over time, we'll let that information get out that the reason why people are fat is because of insulin problems. And how we can use their hormonal system to control their appetite so they don't eat as much and lose weight. And we'll sell it. We'll sell a ton of this stuff. And they are. Less appetite, better blood sugar, less insulin needed. It's okay to get the blood sugar down. You burn fat easier, and you're on your way. So are they, making buku bucks, setting records. But also, we're going to sell this stuff for a while, and we're going to have a large market of people taking it. They're going to start to develop side effects, but that's okay. We'll put out billions of dollars in settlements. But we're going to make billions and billions and billions of dollars selling the drug. And they are. They don't care about us. No, none whatsoever. And if food comes, they don't either. That's why as Americans, we are the fattest in the world. People in the world, the fattest. Overfed, underfit. Overfed and underfit. Just go to your grocery store. You see exactly what I'm talking about. People loading their shopping carts with all kinds of junk food. They go down the aisles. You want to play it safe? Stay in the perimeter of the store, outside of the store. You go through the produce section, then you go through the meat section, then you go through all your paper stuff. Okay, toilet paper, paper plates, things like that. Jasmine's laughing at me in there. She knows I'm right. It's those aisles that are dangerous. Yeah, it's where the bad stuff's at. Soda pop and processed foods and your candy aisle. Okay, I remember as a kid, you can find an aisle which is strictly dedicated to nothing but soda pop. Both sides, all the way up and down the aisle. And then boxes of cereal. Everywhere. I mean, aisles of it. And then chips. 1,000 different brands of chips and things like that are junk food. Everywhere. You know what I'm talking about. And and seniors, as we get older, it's just basically you're empty nesters, your kids are gone. Okay, you may have the grandkids once in a while, or your kids are still there. Okay, but if they're gone, okay, it's just you and Ma and Pa, and saying, I don't want to make a big damn meal. Just you and me eating. Let's get something out. So you go down to McDonald's, you get yourself a Big Mac and a French fry, and you sit there and you basically wash it down with a Diet Coke so I don't gain any weight. It's just the truth. That's the truth. You don't want it? No, that's bad for you. And then, I'll just go down to see my Dr. Z, and he's going to give me a shot of Ozempic, and I'll take care of the problem tomorrow. Okay, here we go. All right, does this sound like you? It probably does. All right, I mean, a lot of my listeners are probably driving their car. Don't wreck your car. Listen to Dr. Fitness making jokes. Don't do that. Okay, but it's true. We eat all kinds of junk. Well, today with the economy the way it is, with the politics and stuff like that, people can't buy junk food as easy anymore. Maybe they're cooking at home again. All right. Anyhow, that's another topic altogether. Okay. But anyhow, we are what we eat. Jack LaLanne said this many, many years ago. Diet food is the king. Exercise is the queen. Together they make a kingdom. He's right. There's no way a person can be healthy and can be fit completely unless they eat right and exercise. And you don't have to be crazy about this stuff either. You can eat really clean Monday through Friday. That means low carb. Now, on the weekend, you take one meal. This is a person maintaining now. To take one meal, eat whatever you want on Saturday. One meal, eat whatever you want either on Friday or Sunday, and you're going to maintain your weight. And your blood parameters improve. All this. I'm serious about that. And as far as exercise, you're looking at 30 minutes. 2 days a week. In this case, the study I cited for the older women, once a week they get away with it. Twice is better. But once a week, 3 times is great. So the time factor that we say, I don't have the time to put in the go exercise. That's right. I don't. That's gone. That's pushed on the side. And if a person is really busy and they can't afford anything, they can't afford to go to a gym, they can't afford to come see someone like me, squat. Literally squat. It's called body weight resistance. If you got up in the morning and you did 10 squats out of your chair, hour or two later, another 10 squats. By the end of the day, you've done 50, 60 squats. You've just exercised 2/3 of your body from the waist down. Literally. 2/3. Because it's the legs that have to get you around. It's also those muscles in the lower leg, in the calf area, okay, what we call the soleus, which is underneath the gastrocnemius, which is the calf muscle, the main one, that squeezes the blood vessels to push blood back up to the heart and lungs. That's why if you exercise the soleus muscle, it reduces blood pressure and reduces blood sugar and reduces risk of dementia. I am not making this stuff up. Now, here's something else you can do. If you want to boost your fat loss process, lose weight faster, go online, go to Berbelean, Berbelean.com, and order a bottle of Berbelean. Not berberine, Berbelean, Berbelean. Why I say this is because berberine is used as a natural Ozempic without the side effects. Berberine phytosome is more absorbable. But that alone doesn't lick the problem that people have when it comes to eating. 75% of people out there are emotional eaters. So I got together with a company out here in Phoenix called Nootropics Depot. And we came up with a formula that includes certain blends of nutrients that control emotional eating. They pick up your moods. They increase serotonin. On top of that, we put metabolism boosters that are in it that pick up the metabolism. In other words, burning more calories. So if you're looking for a substitute that's inexpensive, that gives you a similar effect of Ozempic without the side effects, then get Berbelean. Berbelean by Nootropics Depot. Again, I was involved in the formulation of it. It's great. It's a great product. You can go online. You can type in Berbelean.com, Berbelean.com. It'll take you to their website. You may even see me there. Okay, and get yourself going on the product, along with adopting a clean lifestyle of low-carb eating and exercising, and you're on your way to weight loss permanently, inexpensively. Okay, again, that's Berbelean.com. We'll be right back. Here's another thing you can do. You need to be exercising to boost your brain. Exercise brain boost can last for years. Get this. High-intensity interval exercise like we do with PHA improves brain function in older adults for up to 5 years. In other words, upper, lower, the pumping effect. A longitudinal study at the University of Queensland, researchers have found high-intensity interval exercise improves brain function in older adults for up to 5 years. It says here that the 6 months of high-intensity interval training is enough to flick the switch, says the emeritus Professor Bartlett. In earlier preclinical work, we discovered exercise can activate stem cells and increase the production of neurons in the hippocampus, improving cognition. In this study, a large cohort of healthy 65 to 85-year-old volunteers joined a 6-month exercise program, did biomarkers and cognition testing, and high-resolution brain scans. We followed them up for 5 years after the program, and incredibly, they still had improved cognition, even if they hadn't kept up with the exercise. Shows you right there how important exercise is as we get older. All you've got to do is go down to a senior living center, walk through it, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. People are sitting there doing nothing. sitting in their chair, either watching television or sitting in their rooms by themselves. Not a good place to be. At least that's my opinion. So to keep from being in there, you need to keep moving. Hate to say it, seniors. I mean, that's us. Don't have a lot of time left. Look at it this way. You know, I'm almost 70 years of age. The average male lives to be 76. The average female, I believe, lives to be about 80. So if you're in my age group, we don't have a lot of time left. And I want to enjoy my time while I'm here. Enjoying my time doesn't mean sitting in a chair watching television or waiting till it's lunchtime or till it's dinner time. No. I mean getting up and going and doing something. Enjoying time with life. Enjoying life in general. And the only way to do that is to stay physically active. Watch your diet. Doesn't mean look at the food on the plate and eat the bad stuff. It means eat healthy. But activity becomes extremely important as we get older. The right kind. In resistance training, you cannot substitute resistance training. There's no cardio that's going to do that. You have muscles that need to be exercised. That's why God gave them to you. Over 600 muscles in the body. They're supposed to be used. From the nose to the toes, putting that simply. From the nose to the toes. Let's start with the nose. Nose is on the face, right? Face is on the head. Head's held up by what? By the neck. Right? How much does the head weigh? Take a guess. Ever pick up a bowling ball? 16 pounds, approximately. Pretty heavy. 16-pound bowling ball, probably pick that thing up and throw that thing down the alley, down the lane. That thing's pretty heavy. Neck holds it up. Lie down. Tuck your chin into your neck and try to lift your head up by looking at your knees. Try to lift your head up. I guarantee you, ladies, by the fourth or fifth time that you lift that head, you go, oh my God, my neck hurts. Guys, it's about 10. 16-pound bowling ball held up by the neck. Now, what's below the neck? Well, you got the shoulders and the muscles between the shoulder blades. Those muscles between the shoulder blades hold the shoulder blades to the rib cage, to your spine and the rib cage. Those are secondary stabilizers. They're like shock absorbers. When you lift your arm up, try to lift overhead, those muscles are contracting to keep you from dislocating the shoulder. Things from popping in and out. They need to be exercised. Then you have the muscles that run along the whole spine there. Lots of them. The erector spinae. Spinalis muscle. All those muscles that run down that spine there to hold you upright. They don't do much work when you're sitting in a chair. Then you have the muscles in front that work opposite the muscles in the back. They allow you to sit up when you're lying in a prone position, to sit up. The abdominal. Those have to be exercised. They're not when you're sitting. Then you look at the butt, the most powerful muscle in the human body. Some refer to them as the hip muscles, the pelvic muscles, the hips. They're in the center, the core. All the muscles on top, along with all the bones, they sit on top the hips, the pelvic area. And what's below the pelvic area? The legs. The legs attached to the hips. Big, powerful muscles to do what? To get you up and down out of a chair. To allow you to move forward and backwards and sideways. But yet most people don't exercise the hips. And when you're sitting down, those aren't contracting either. They're just sitting there. And they get flabby. Guys, I'm going to pick on you now. Men, as we get older, our butts go away. Flat butts. Jasmine's laughing in there. No butt guys. Because they're not using that big, powerful muscle to propel them and move them along. That's why we need to exercise them. You've got this big body connected by the hips in the middle that's not being used because we sit. And to simplify and make it easy, do squats in and out of a chair. That will strengthen the butt muscles and the leg muscles. It also improves your balance. And then do a bunch of upper body core exercise by lying down. Invest in a massage table. You can buy it off of Amazon for $125. Put it up in your living room, and you can get on and off the thing really simply. Not off the floor with some pad down there. No, on a massage table. Or easy to get on, easy to get off. And do core exercise. Lift your head up and down 4 or 5 times. Like I said, I'll lie on your back. Do hip flex. Your legs are out in front of you. Bend one knee, draw the foot up, put the foot flat. One leg's bent, one leg straight. Take your toes, flex them to the nose, okay? And then lift that leg up and down 5, 10 times. That's hip flexion, both sides. Okay, then bend your knees and put both your feet flat on the table with your knees bent. Put one hand behind the head, one on the abdominal, and try to roll up into a ball. Nice and easy. Just visualize you got a ball in your tummy. Try to squeeze that ball by bringing your chest towards it and your head towards it and your elbows towards it 10 times. Then you can roll over in your tummy. Again, you're on a massage table. Easy to do. The floor is not. Put your arms along your side and try to bring your shoulders and chest off the table. Keep your hips down. You're arching your back slightly. 10 times. You just exercise most of your core by doing those squats and doing those upper body exercises I just referred to. No excuse not to move. And all you spend, what I just said here, it's going to take you 5 minutes, maybe. You can do them a couple times a day, but it will improve your mobility. It will make your life more enjoyable.